we can pair the touchscreen once we have USB connection to the RX3200 from the TV, and the TV supporting touchscreen function. We can pair the touchscreen to the MTR. It will pop up a pairing button on the TV. You will need to touch that, and this will allow you to pair the screen to the MTR. We can define the date and time. Important suggestion: do not touch these menus. Setting time automatically and the time zone automatically is required for proper Microsoft authentication and pairing, including the sign-in process. So please keep the automatic time zone and automatically time to be set as on, and do not touch these toggles. We can define the preferred NTP server, but then again, this information can be also retrieved from the network, and we don't need to touch that if there is not a necessary requirement. Wi-Fi. The RX-Pad can work with Wi-Fi, but for that it needs to be powered on with power supply. It cannot be powered on with a PoE, because the PoE provides also the network. So we need to power the RX-Pad using only power supply, and then we'll be able to switch to use Wi-Fi. Bluetooth. It's open by default because the pairing process of our devices is done initially by Bluetooth, and it cannot be turned off. So even if someone will by accident press on the toggle and turn it off, it will then instantly be turned on again. USB audio device is not a relevant menu for the RX-Pad and also for the RX3200. It's something that is being inherited from all our team's devices. The power saving method is allowing us to control the time the devices should be starting on and ending in its operating mode. For example, this device is configured to start at 7 AM, be available and defined to be ended at 7 PM. Once the time is not passed, the green LED will always be LED, and we will see the devices in power enabling mode. Security. We show password when we type them. We can disable this function. Languages and inputs. We can define the language of the device. There are plenty of languages that can be chosen. This menu is popping up as a reminder out of the box when first turning on the device. Bundle. We've been to this menu before. We can define what is the bundle that we are using. For example, we are using this MTR, RX3200, RX-Pad, and RX-VCAM 360. Although we have connected here also the RX-VCAM 50 because we are using the composite AI. In the future it will be available as well. AudioCodes pairing. Currently we are paired with the MTR on that side of the table. I cannot disconnect it. I cannot remove the connection because we are paired in Teams level. Even if I will press on that, it will not do the disconnecting. It will print and pop up on the screen. Device is paired in Teams level. To do that, we will need to enter Teams admin settings and disconnect the pairing first. I will demonstrate this later. Camera settings. This, as we've been through before, allows us to control the camera and to control the functionality of the cameras. We can see if we have two cameras, we can control both. Modify network. It's something that allows us to define if the device is using DHCP or getting its IP address manually by using a static method. In this menu, we can also define a proxy manually, the 802.1x settings as well, and also the VLAN settings, suggesting not to touch. Everything is defined to be automatic. If it's not needed, that it cannot be used. Debugging. In this menu, we can define how we collect the logs. We can enable the remote logging, user data reset, restart the Teams application. We can erase all data on the current machine and the RX-Pad, and we can also erase all data on the MTR, on the front of home, the remote device. That's because they are paired together to each other. ADB is not available on a release build, so you will not see this menu as open. SSH is. It's something that can be defined. This also allows us to connect to the device for debugging. And now we will go over the Teams admin settings. Teams admin settings are the Teams menu. These are not AudioCodes menu. This is the Teams menu that Microsoft defined for the MTRs. In the Teams admin menu, we have 4 menus in general. We have the general itself. This one allows us to report a bug to Microsoft. We can choose the background, we can enable the touchscreen control. So once I press on this toggle, you will see on the screen that the toggle of the MTR are appearing and disappearing according to my pressing on this button. This one is good if you have a touchscreen device and you want to press on the device during a presentation while you stand near the TV. Turn on dual display mode. If you have connected two displays to the MTR, because it has two HDMI outputs, you will be able to connect two displays. Once you have only one and this function is available, you will see a pop-up on the RX-Pad and also on the RX-V200. The display is disconnected. It talks about the second display. I will disable it because we don't have a second display indeed. During that function is available, there is also an ability to swap the screens, the swap between the main display and the secondary display, while you have two displays available and connected to the MTR. We can define if we want to show or don't show the QR code. The QR code allows us to enter the meeting on the fly, scan the code using your phone, and you will be able to use the MTR. You can accept a proximity-based joint meeting invitation. This will allow you to find the MTR using your laptop and also search it by and look if it's available by using the cast option on the Teams application. Also for that is the Bluetooth beaconing. We have also the ability to define the restart menu, the restart schedule time for the device. It can happen or at all, not happen at all, or it can happen during some start and end time each day. Meetings, we can define if we want to show or don't show the meeting names. We can show the chat bubbles during a meeting. We can show the chat or not. We can require a passcode for each meeting this device has been invited to. We can allow the room to initiate whiteboard or not. Usually we make it available. We enable the HDMI content sharing, automatically share to the room, etc., more function at all. Important things that people usually ask us, how to invite this room to an external meeting using Zoom or Cisco WebEx. So there is some abilities that needs to be open. First, these two needs to be available on the MTR, the third-party meetings, and there is another settings that needs to be enabled, and this will be shown separately during the training. So these two must be open, and then we will discuss about the others. Devices. In the devices we have three menus. The first one is the room camera. It will allow us to see the camera is connected to. If we have a content camera, we can talk about it as well and display it. And we have also the console pairing. This menu shows us to which MTR this RX-Pad is connected to. Using this menu we can either reset the pairing. So if you will look at the screen of the MTR, you will see now that I am now disconnected. And once I will return again to the Teams admin settings, and it will ask me to pair, because it actually closed the pairing, it will ask me to pair again the MTR with this RX-Pad. So now, this is also something that might happen to you in the field. I will access the menu again. And if I will go to devices, you will see that I have no device connected. Once I will go back to the main menu, the menu I will see that the RX-Pad is searching for an MTR. Because I did reset pairing, because I know my serial number, and I know that this belongs to this device, I will press on the pair. The pairing will be initiated automatically, and you will see again an all set message on the pad and also on the MTR itself on the room.